If you think World War II survival gear was crude, heavy and primitive, you've been misled. Because, you see, hidden inside that war was one of the most advanced fabric technologies ever fielded. A material so effective that it still outperforms much of today's synthetic gear. It didn't rely on plastic membranes, rubber coatings or chemical treatments. Instead, it relied on understanding nature at a microscopic level. Soldiers trusted it with their lives. Explorers still hunt for it today. And once you understand how it worked, you'll never look at modern rain gear the same way again. This isn't a marketing story. This is a survival story, forged under pressure where failure meant death. Before we get into the fabric that quietly changed wartime survival, take a moment to support the channel. If you value deep historical research, practical survival lessons, and forgotten technologies that still matter today, like the video, share it with someone who appreciates real history, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Past Survival. Now, let's get straight into the substance. Why World War II exposed the fatal weaknesses of traditional fabrics. By the early 1940s, every major army had learned a hard truth. Canvas and oil-treated cloth were failing soldiers across nearly every environment on Earth. In tropical jungles, humidity broke down waterproof treatments in just a few weeks. In Arctic conditions, oil-stiffened tarps froze solid and cracked. In deserts, heat degraded fibers, while sand abraded coatings into dust. Wet fabric meant frozen bodies, infected skin, ruined food, and failed shelters. Weather was killing men as efficiently as enemy fire. Survival required something radically better and fast. Why the Royal Air Force needed a miracle rather than an improvement. No group felt this pressure more intensely than RAF air crews operating over the North Atlantic. When pilots ditched into icy seas, survival time was measured in minutes. Standard flight suits soaked instantly and dragged men under. Hypothermia followed almost immediately. Rubberized suits existed, but they trapped sweat, caused overheating, and tore easily. What engineers needed was a fabric that behaved differently depending on conditions. Something breathable when dry, yet completely sealed when wet. At the time, that sounded impossible. How British engineers solved the problem with pure material science. In 1941, textile engineers in Manchester delivered an answer that honestly shocked the military establishment. They didn't invent a new fibre. They perfected an old one. Using the finest, long-staple Egyptian cotton and weaving it at extraordinary density, sometimes over 400 threads per inch, they created Ventile. Its behaviour was unique. When dry, it felt soft and breathable. When exposed to water, the cotton fibres absorbed moisture and swelled, locking together so tightly that liquid water could not pass through. No coatings, no wax, no rubber, just physics and precision. Why Ventile changed survival outcomes in real combat. RAF survival suits made from Ventile extended cold water survival times by up to 20 minutes. That extra time meant rescue instead of recovery. On land, troops quickly realized the fabric's broader advantages. It stayed flexible in sub-zero temperatures where synthetics became brittle. It resisted sparks and embers that melted nylon instantly. It shed ice instead of accumulating it. It remained quiet, a crucial trait for reconnaissance units. Arctic troops wore heavy grades. Desert units favoured lighter weaves that blocked wind and sand. Jungle forces valued its resistance to mould and rot. British units began improvising with the fabric in ways its designers never anticipated. Ponchos doubled as ground sheets. Capes became shelter walls. Stretcher slings were sewn from it because it retained strength when wet. One piece of material could serve as clothing, shelter, insulation, and load-bearing equipment. That versatility made it invaluable in environments where resupply was uncertain and failure was not an option. Despite decades of polymer research, Ventile retains a devoted following among explorers and survival professionals. It is silent in motion. It doesn't delaminate. It doesn't rely on membranes that fail over time. It can be repaired in the field, and it ages gracefully. Modern fabrics often excel at one task but fail at others. Ventile balanced durability, comfort, weather resistance and longevity in a way few materials ever have. While true Ventile requires industrial weaving, its principles can still be applied today. Extremely tight natural fibre weaves outperform loosely woven fabrics with heavy coatings. Linen and high thread count cotton offer surprising weather resistance when properly treated. Traditional methods using boiled linseed oil, beeswax and patient curing can produce breathable, water-resistant cloth suitable for tarps, ponchos and ground sheets. These materials won't fully replicate Ventile's fibre-swelling behaviour, but they demonstrate the same philosophy work with the material, not against it. Ventile represents something rare in modern design. A solution born from necessity, refined through real-world testing and validated by lives saved. It reminds us that innovation doesn't always mean complexity. Sometimes it means understanding fundamentals deeply and applying them ruthlessly. For historians, Ventile is proof that World War II wasn't just a war of weapons, but of materials. For survivalists, it's a lesson in durability, adaptability, and quiet efficiency. If you value these deep dives into forgotten survival technology, make sure you're subscribed to Past Survival. Share this video with someone who still believes modern always means better. Leave your thoughts below, because the past still has lessons worth learning. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next episode.